Okay, so today we're going to talk about the elimination of the dual eligible SEP. This was eliminated in the final rule that came out for 2025, and this change started January 1st of 2025. However, the biggest impact for us as agents will be in April. So I wanted to go over this again. I did this webinar previously, but it was a much longer one, so I wanted to do a more concise version and go over this because it seems at this point there's a lot of people that are still unaware of this change, and it's going to be something that has a big impact on us. So the quarterly dual election, the special election for the quarterly special election for dual and for those with drug help, such as SEP, such as LIS, has been eliminated. It was eliminated January 1st of 2025. They have added a couple new additional SEPs, some which will be helpful, some which may not be, depending on the state you're in. We'll talk about those, talk about the impact this is going to have and the things you need to know. We will briefly talk about the levels of dual plan integration, because that's important for one of the new SEPs that's been added. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. And as always, all our webinars are recorded. They're put on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Crowe-Medicare. So, as I mentioned before, the changes apply to all levels. This is full dual, LIS, any level of drug help. So this rule started 1/1/2025, but the impact really for us is going to be felt at the end of OEP. Because right now during OEP, we have an election to move people from one advantage to another or one dual to another. But once that OEP election ends, starting April 1st, a lot of us will rely then on the SEP for dual, and that's going to be gone, the quarterly one. So the quarterly SEP for full dual, partial dual, and LIS only is eliminated. They have added a couple new SEPs in its place. So there's 3 of them basically. The new monthly SEP is one that started January 1st, and that will allow all levels of help, full dual through drug help only, to disenroll from a Medicare Advantage plan, go back to original Medicare, and enroll in a standalone drug plan. The second one is an SEP that is monthly again, that is for all levels, and that is to change from one drug plan to another. And when I say all levels, I mean all levels of help. And then the third one, and which is why we're going to have to talk about plan integration and what it means to be an integrated plan, is a new SEP for full benefit duals only. So only full duals, and that allows them every month to enroll into an integrated and aligned DSNP. It has to be integrated and aligned for them to move, for you to use that election. And as you'll find, there's a lot of states that will not have integrated and aligned dual plans. They'll have dual plans, but they won't be integrated. So plans that are eligible for the new monthly integration SEP, and that's what we'll call it, the integration SEP. The integration SEP can be used with the following DSNP plans with the following level of integration. So fully integrated, highly integrated, or a DSNP that is applicable integrated. Those 3. So it has to, in 2025, the DSNP for the first 3 quarters of the, it used to be for the first 3 quarters of the year, you could switch people, but now it's monthly. But if you're going to move somebody who's a full dual into another plan, another dual plan, it has to have one of those levels of integration. This SEP, the monthly full dual SEP, is integration SEP, is not available for coordination only DSNPs, and there will be a lot of those. So if the DSNP is listed as coordination only, you cannot use that monthly SEP for it. Same thing with the standard advantage plan. Now, what if, since there's going to be 3 elections, as you know, the one to switch people from an advantage back to original Medicare and a drug plan, or if they're in a drug plan, they want to switch to a different drug plan, or if there happens to be an integrated dual plan you can move into, you could use the monthly integrated SEP. What if you use 2 of those in the same month? Well, the last one you use will be the one that's effective. So what are our scenarios? So the scenarios are all levels can change back to original Medicare and a drug plan on a monthly basis. That's effective right now. But once OEP is over, obviously, you don't have the OEP election, so this will be helpful to know. So all levels can change back to original Medicare, a drug plan on a monthly basis. All levels can change standalone drug plans. So if they're in a standalone drug plan, you can switch them to another one. When I say, again, all levels, I mean all levels of help, from full Medicaid to drug help only. All right, if somebody's LIS only, they cannot change from one Advantage plan to another on a quarterly basis. Again, the quarterly SEP is gone, so you cannot use that. If somebody's a partial dual, they can't change from one Advantage plan to another on a quarterly basis. And if somebody finally is a full dual, you have the monthly integration SEP, but that is only to change them to a dual plan that is defined as integrated. So if it's not integrated, you can't use it. So what you're going to need to do is determine the level of DSNP integration. The carriers should make that fairly obvious. They will list what level of integration it is, and as we showed on the previous slides, it's got to be integrated in order for it to be eligible. So hopefully, I say they will clearly identify the level. Hopefully they will do that. And this will be very different by state. So I will tell you right now, there's 20 some states that will not have any integrated plans at all. There will be some states where some of the plans will be integrated and others aren't. There's one key thing that determines if they can get a definition of integration. We'll talk about in 1 second. So anyway, you could be an agent in a state that has no integrated plans. Connecticut, for example, has none in 2025. And there's 20 some states like that. And again, some states will have a few integrated plans, but it's going to vary a great deal. So you'll probably ask yourself, well, why doesn't every carrier just make every dual plan integrated? Sometimes they can't. They have to have a Medicaid managed care organization in the state. It's state specific in a given state, basically to have their plan meet the definition of integrated. And a lot of carriers don't have that. So for example, none of the carriers have a Medicaid managed care organization in Connecticut. That's why there's none in Connecticut. There's various states like that. In some states, only certain carriers have that. So having a Medicaid managed care organization is integral for them to be able to have a definition of an integrated dual plan. In summary, partial dual and LIS members will only be able to change to original Medicare and a drug plan, or they can change drug plans with the monthly SEP. Full duals can use that option as well. So if they're in the dual plan, they can use that monthly SEP to switch out of that dual plan, go back to original Medicare and a drug plan. Full duals can change from one Advantage plan to another on a monthly basis, but only if they're changing into an integrated or applicable integrated dual plan. It has to be dual to use the monthly election. So where this will have a big impact on us is after OAP is over. A lot of us rely on what used to be the quarterly election SEP for dual and drug help. That's gone now, as I've described. So for us, it's going to be a matter of trying to find available SEPs for people after, once April 1st starts. What makes this a little more difficult is, and I'll do this on a webinar tomorrow, is the elimination of the disaster SEP starting April 1. So starting April 1st, the disaster SEP is gone. It's been eliminated. So you won't be able to use that any longer for natural disasters that you'd find on the FEMA website. That's all we got for today. We're done. I appreciate you coming on and listening. Again, I'll do a webinar tomorrow, which it'll be a very short one talking about the elimination of the disaster election. And I appreciate you coming on today. Thank you.